Hey everybody, my name is Jen and this is Jen Geigley Knits. Happy New Year, how's it going? I thought I would make a video today with my list of patterns from Ravelry that use mini skeins and leftovers stash busting patterns because I have this Advent yarn that I got last month that I need to find a project for, and I think I have, but I want to go over the list anyway because there's a lot of really cool things in there. And I know some of my Advent yarn won't fit into the project that I think I'm going to use most of it for. I know I'll have more, so it's always good to have a few backup pattern ideas too. And you might find something you like in there as well for your stash busting needs, or sock leftovers, sweater leftovers. We all have leftovers and stash and things we don't know what to do with. And so there's mittens and shawls and sweaters and hats and all kinds of things. So hopefully you find something you like as well, because it's just kind of fun to look. There's so much in Ravelry, and this is just, some things that I picked that I liked, but there's so many more. So we'll get into that in a minute. But I wanted to show you a couple things first. On New Year's Day, I was lucky enough to knit with two separate groups of friends. It's been a tradition for some of us for a long time, many years, to get together on January 1st and cast on something new, which is just really fun and a good way to catch up. And it's just kind of the best way to start a new year. So I met with my friend Erica in the morning and met with my longtime knitting friends, Emily, Taylor, and Nicole in the afternoon. And it was kind of the best day just to see everybody and cast on things together. And I started one little thing that I was like, do I want to make this? I do. But then I was kind of craving color, so I'll show you my second option in a minute. And I'm also working mostly on a sweater, which I'll also show you. I really got a lot done on a big sweater project that I've been working on for a while over winter break, which was so nice. I just caught like the knitting bug and had some extra time with some of those free days to actually get some knitting done, which felt so nice. But it was also chaos here. And this is actually the first day that my kids are back in school, and I kind of have a quiet house where I can clear my mind again. And like I need to write this sweater pattern. And it's really hard to do some of that when everyone is home in my house, swirling about in our various activities with, friends visiting the kids and like all the stuff happening. So I just needed to like take a deep breath and have this day. And now I'm trying to do, all the things in one day, but I have more days ahead. It's just, if I seem a little scattered, I am. I am scattered today. But anyway, what I was saying is I started a project on January 1st over coffee, and it's a petite knit hat called the Stockholm Hat, and it uses two strands of Sandness Sunday held together with a strand of mohair. And so it makes a really cozy, nice fabric that isn't it isn't tiny and thin. It's like a substantial hat. And what size is it on? Like 6? Yeah, US 6 needles. And I just wanted like a neutral, cozy hat to go with my black coat, just something very simple. And that is petite knit. If you know, it's like, that's a go-to for simple, wearable, classic. So I started that, but then I'm like, is that boring? And then I remembered I had something more fun. If I want to go that direction instead, I have this hat kit that I ordered a while back from Kindred Red. And it's her Rad DK 50 grams, and she dyes this colorway for the color bar hat from this issue of Pom Pom, which I think I've shown here before. I'll find a picture without showing the pattern. Let's see. It is a really interesting, why isn't it focusing? There we go. Really interesting use of the bright colors in these color bars, which is kind of like the TV color bars of days of yore. And then, so I was thinking, like, I have this basic hat, I can make both, but like, I don't know. I saw this yarn just sitting there waiting for me, like, why aren't you making the color bar hat? that just seems like a fun project to start. So maybe I'll start both, because I got like some cast-on-itis because I have finished or almost finished this, which it's in pieces, but this is a big sweater project that I've been working on with Lobby and Amish, Corey worsted, and I have all the parts knitted, and I just have to put everything together, finish the neck, which I'm making double long so I can fold it in, and then I have some fun little elements I'm gonna add at the end. So this is so, I've been like working on this maybe since shortly after Rhinebeck, but I've been working on other things in between, so it was hard to really bust this out. So I really focused on this like on Christmas Day. I got to knit on it the day after Christmas, and I got so much done that I just really started to pick up speed and just could see the end in sight. And then I just, you know, when you kind of stay up a few nights a little bit later because you're just not able to stop, that's how fun this was. So I'm excited to put this together. This color is divine. This is my favorite chartreuse yellow green. And this yarn is so beautiful to work with and feels so nice too. And so I'm excited to get this all put together and show you what it is. And then I'm hoping to have this come out sometime around Vogue Knitting Live during that week or the week before. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But I still am writing this pattern because I kind of write as I go and make sure I'm knitting it and it's working out and everything. And then I've got some things that I'm adding at the end that I need to write as I do it. So that's kind of how that's working out. But I'm so excited about this one. I already love it. So that's fun. Also, before I forget, let's talk about the sweater I'm wearing. I have made a goal, kind of inspired by my friend Erica, that I'm going to wear my sweaters more this year, wear my hand knits. I do, but not as much as I could. And this is my cider mill pullover from a couple Rheinebecks ago. I designed it in Modern Daily Knitting Atlas yarn, which is a Rambouillet wool, and just a regular colorwork yoke sweater. I will tell you a little story about mine. The tragic, it's like it survived the tragedy, and I know better, which is even worse. But I was blocking this like an extra time, or I was kind of I'd wash it and it wasn't drying fast enough for me. And I put it in the dryer, and I know better than to do that. But I was like, oh, just for a couple minutes to speed up the drying process and it'll be fine. And I sort of, not all the way, but somewhat felted this. And it's a little shrunken, like my sleeves are like a little short, but not horrible. Like if I pull them down, they're fine. And this got a little shorter, but it still fits. It's still fine. But some of the color work isn't as sharp as it used to be. It's a little blended in. There's like a piece of, okay. But it's a beautiful sweater. Just don't felt yours. Like, why did I do that? I know better than to do that. But anyway, cider mill pullover by me, Jen Geigley. It's a really cute sweater. It's really fun. A bunch of us did a knit along that year and wore them to Rhinebeck, and it was really cute. And some of the little motifs in here are subtle Rhinebeck references. Like there's the cider donuts. These are donuts. The fall leaves. And then these are the pan flutes and something else. Now I forgot. What are these? These are something too. Are those donuts? Anyway, donuts, leaves, pan flutes, maybe that's all. I think I was gonna try to put an apple in there and it just got too weird and like too obvious, so I just, whatever. Anyway, that's the sweater I'm wearing today, and I hope to wear more as I do these podcasts in the future because it is fun to wear your knits, and I don't know, I should absolutely be wearing them more than I do. Before I start my Ravelry list of Advent pattern ideas, I think I'll show you what I think my plan is so far with my Advent yarn. And I really loved my Magpie Advent set this year, and it came with all these beautiful cool colors and a full skein of this dark blue purple color, this kind of midnight blue, which would be perfect for the ribbing on the sweater, on the edge, you know, the cuffs and the neck, you know what I'm saying? And then it comes with there's tons of cool colors that it came with, and I'll lay them out in a minute. And then my Chelsea Yarns Advent also had a lot of blues and greens too that would kind of go with that. And not that it has to be all matchy and cool colors, but I have a lot of them and they do look really nice together. And I could definitely throw in some other colors too, but this is just kind of where it's going, I feel. But I might mix them all up and just see, because I also have some other sets, like this folklore set from my friend Sam at Lavender Loon is really pretty too. So maybe I don't want to go all cool colors, but this does have some cooler skeins that would be really pretty over here. And then I was thinking, holding this up, I also have this yarn from the Farmer's Daughter in a really nice green that might be really pretty with this type of colorway. So I have to figure out how much I have of everything, or if I just mix it all up and go crazy and just not worry about what looks good with what, because maybe that turns out better in the end. And then I also have, you know, a skein of chartreuse that could, you know, this could be the ribbing color. This could be the ribbing color. This could still be the ribbing color. But this could be with the cool tones. This could be with the cool tones. And I don't know. So I have other random, like, leftover, you know, don't we all have lots of leftover things in random places that I've just been collecting. And I think I'm gonna go lay everything on the couch and kind of see what I'm looking at. And I can totally change my mind as you go, because it's just like one little stripe, 2 colors, and you just keep switching. But I do think it would be really pretty to do just a whole cool thing. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see when we get there. But let me go lay everything out. Okay, let's take a look and see what we're working with here. Let's go across. These are all the minis in my stash. And right over here, honestly, this looks really good to me. This is the Magpie Fibers set, plus a few little random balls of yarn that I had in my sock stash, and this chartreuse Madeleine Tosh skein, which I think looks really good as like an accent with these cool colors. And then, so I mean, this could be a sweater right here. And then I have this folklore set, which is so beautiful on its own that I don't really want to split it up. But this is from Lavender Loon, and this could be its own thing, really. But if I really needed some cool colors, I could pull from there. And then I have the Chelsea Yarns Avent, which there's a lot of things here going on. We've got the cool colors and some oranges and yellows, pinks, purples, neutrals. And so I definitely could pull from here, like some of these cool colors, maybe even some of these neutrals, and definitely that purple. So I think I'm gonna add these to the Magpie pile and just see kind of what I've got. Okay, this looks like a solid plan and maybe enough yarn for the whole sweater right here. So I have the 3 skeins of Lavender Loon if I need them. I have my weird sock balls from downstairs. And then I've got the Magpie set, which is kind of perfect on its own. And then the Chelsea yarns really go well with these 2. And so I think that rounds it all out, probably. And I think I'm gonna put this all in the bag together, so when I'm ready to cast on the Seaglass Sweater, I'll be ready to go. Since we're on the topic of mini skeins, let's talk about how to wind mini skeins, because you can absolutely do it by hand. That's what I did with these, but you can also wind them on a Swift. And I would just like to promote my Swift, my personal Swift, for a moment, because I know so many people that don't have a yarn Swift, and this has been my most used knitting tool since the beginning of knitting. So I've had this Swift since 2008, and I use it all the time. I definitely use it more than anything else besides my knitting needles. And I love this style. So I would love to recommend, and I'll put the link below to this exact one, but this is an Amish style wooden swift. And if you are short on space and that's what's holding you back from this, let me show you how easy it is to disassemble. Sorry, that was loud. Everything comes apart really easily. If you have like a canvas bag, you can just slide this all in. So this all goes down to just these little sticks, these little dowels. And then even the base goes flat. And so this is really all you have to store, and you can just totally throw this in a canvas bag and get it out when you need it. But I use these all the time. I've used this forever. It's been perfect this whole time. I don't know why I didn't want an umbrella swift, but I just thought this was more compact, and it really is. So I'll put the link below. It's the ChiaoGoo Amish style swift. Here's like the little, but I'll put the link below because this is the best one. So I think it's like $45 or $50, but you will use the heck out of this thing, I promise. And so it's totally worth it, I'm just gonna say. And then I just have a Knit Picks winder, which I've also had since 2008. But I have used these so much over the years that totally worth having. It's just a time saver. But yes, I will show you how I wind skeins, mini skeins by hand. And then I'll show you on the Swift, just in case you're like, what do you do with these? So to wind a mini skein by hand, you can just have a friend hold out their arms for you. But my favorite way is just to use the back of a chair. But all you do is you unwind the twist and you'll get a big loop of yarn. And then you put this on the back of a chair or around something that's heavy, like 2 soup cans or something like that, that'll keep this round. I'm gonna put it on the back of a chair, and then I'm just gonna snip these little threads that hold it together, and then you will see that I'm just gonna wind it by hand into a ball. So my pattern calls for this yarn held double, so I'm going to leave this tail out for a center pull ball as I wind. So I'm just going to leave a little tail hanging out, and I'm going to start wrapping around my fingers. And I'm going to keep this tail out the whole time so that I can get it out of the ball when I'm done, and then I can use both ends at the same time. And once I have a good amount of this, I will get it off my fingers, still holding this out, and start wrapping this direction. So that's my one little mini skein wound by hand. I left a bunch of room on the inside by wrapping around my 2 fingers for a long time, and you just don't go too tight, so then there's enough slack that this will pull out easily. So that's my inside end, and then I'll have my outside end just tucked in here, and I can knit with both at the same time if I want to. So that's just a nice option to leave yourself. These I did a long time ago and I did not do that, but that's okay. You can kind of make it work. Then I'm gonna wind up my next mini on my Swift. And you just do the same thing. I'm gonna unwind this twist and pull it into a giant loop. And then I'm gonna put it around my dowels. I'm gonna check to make sure that this fits pretty well. These are adjustable. There's little holes to adjust how far out your dowels are. You want it to be not too loose, but not too tight. And then I'm just gonna snip the ends that holds it together. And I know, I'm sure you've seen this before, even if you don't have one of these. I'm sure you've seen this at a yarn store, but I just want to show you what it's like with a mini skein because it just makes a little bitty cake. I'm just gonna find my end and then I thread it through this little metal thing on the side of my winder. And then I hold it here. And if there's a little knot on the end, you can put the knot and tuck it in the little groove and it holds it even better. But I'm just gonna scoop this a little bit away from the winder and wind. And then you have a tiny little perfect yarn cake, and they're so cute. And this is honestly so much faster than hand winding, so I will be winding the rest of my minis for my sweater just like this. Get them all ready, put them in a little shallow basket so I can see what I've got, and then I'll be ready to cast on my sweater when I'm ready to cast on my sweater. Okay, let's get into the Ravelry list of Avent projects that are great for mini skeins, leftovers, stash busting, all of that. So I picked a variety of patterns. I picked 20 patterns that I think would make good stash busters or use of your mini skeins. So let's start with the Seaglass Sweater by Wool and Pine. This is the one I plan to make. I'm still deciding my colors, but it's okay to be indecisive. So here is the Seaglass Sweater by Wool and Pine. The Seaglass Sweater is designed to help you utilize all of your yarn scraps, leftovers, minis, and stash. This versatile pattern accommodates all yarn weights. As long as you swatch and meet the gauge, you can mix and match your yarn. Combine 2 strands of lighter weight yarn for one color and use a DK for the other, or incorporate single strands of sport or worsted weight to expand your available yardage. This sweater is knit in 1x1 color work, so you will take 2 colors and alternate them. Knit 1 stitch with color 1 and the next with color 2, and then continue this pattern all the way around. You can change one or both colors at the beginning of the round. This pattern also comes with a bonus pattern for the Seaglass Hat. And if you add 3 or more Wool and Pine patterns to your cart on Ravelry, you'll get 20% off, no code needed. The yarn weight is DK using needle sizes 5 and 7 US sizes, and the Seaglass Sweater pattern is $8.75. And now I'm just gonna do a whole Wool and Pine section because they just came out with like a whole bunch of really, really good patterns. But they also have the Seaglass Tea. So this is the Seaglass Tea by Wool and Pine. This tee is similar to the Seaglass Sweater, but it's knit using 1 strand of fingering weight and has short sleeves. There are absolutely no ends to weave in thanks to a video tutorial included with the pattern, and this tee is totally reversible. The pattern includes a custom fit video tutorial and tips for choosing the right size. You'll also find 7 video tutorials with tips for creating your one-of-a-kind Seaglass tee, as well as tips for stash busting and building color palettes. Wool and Pine patterns are size inclusive. This pattern uses needle sizes US 4 and 5, and the Seaglass Tea pattern is $8.75. And this is such a popular pattern that they've also done a crochet version, which is amazing. So here's the Crochet Seaglass Tea by Wool and Pine. In this crochet version of the tee, there are again absolutely no ends to weave in and no magic knots to make, making this project as seamless as the construction itself. With 5 video tutorials included, you'll learn everything you need to know to make your own one-of-a-kind crochet Seaglass tee, including tips for building color palettes, mastering the crochet colorwork technique, and more. The yarn weight for this tee is fingering weight, and you'll use crochet hooks sizes F and H. The Crochet Seaglass Tea pattern is $8.75 on Ravelry. Continuing on with my Wool and Pine feature sections, because I'm just going to do it all right now, because they're really good. They have a whole bunch of new patterns that just came out to use scraps, and they're really, really cute. So I'm just going to show everything now. So they have a Voyage everything. There's a Voyage cardigan, Voyage mittens, and a Voyage hat. And I'll just show you all of them right now because they're all amazing, especially the cardigan. Set off on a splendid adventure with the Voyage series of patterns by Wool & Pine. These projects will transform your yarn stash into a colorful odyssey. This cardigan isn't just a knitting project, it's an expedition into the heart of your yarn collection, where every skein is a step on a journey to create something truly personal and unique. This is perfect for knitters who revel in color. Voyage is your chance to play, experiment, and watch as a blend of hues unfold into a cozy, eye-catching cardigan. This cardigan is knit flat, bottom up, then it transitions to knitting in the round for the body, and then it's steeked at the end. Video tutorials will walk you through each step. Again, if you add 3 or more Wool & Pine patterns to your cart on Ravelry, you'll get 20% off, no code needed. This cardigan is knit in fingering weight yarn and uses needles size US 4 and 5. The Voyage cardigan is $8.75. The Voyage hat is also knit with fingering weight yarn and comes in sizes newborn through adult. This easy to follow pattern is perfect for transforming those leftover yarn bits into a stunning, colorful hat. This pattern is super versatile, so you can make a Voyage hat for every member of your family or circle of friends. The Voyage hat uses needle sizes US 3 and 5, and the pattern is $5. The Voyage mittens are perfect for those who enjoy a dash of creativity in their crafts and are a delightful way to use up leftover fingering weight yarn. Each stitch in the Voyage mittens is an opportunity for you to express your personal style. Mix and match colors to create a pair that perfectly reflects your personality or make a thoughtful, personalized gift. These mittens use fingering weight yarn on US size 2 needles, and the pattern is $5 on Ravelry. Next up is a pattern that I have been looking at since 2020. It's called the Avent Socks 2020 by Natalie Sheldon. And I just love these socks, and I think they make really good use of any leftover sock yarn or Advent yarn that you might have. These socks celebrate our homes and communities. The daily sections of knitting include all kinds of living situations, from a cottage in the woods to high-rise apartments and condos and everything in between. Knit at your own pace to finish in time for your holiday celebration, winter solstice, or any other occasion. Or do a year-long knit-along. Knit one section on each sock each month throughout the year to have a finished pair by next Christmas. This pattern is cuffed down with a short row heel and uses fingering weight yarn. This pattern is a free Ravelry download. I have to add an easy sock project in here, and so I'm gonna go with the Basically Vanilla Advent Socks by Jennifer Beaulieu, I think. These socks are a vanilla sock with a fun striping pattern. Advent not required. Leftovers at any time of the year will work just fine. All versions have different length options to fit different foot lengths. 24 colors, 2 length options, 12 colors, 3 length options, 10 colors, 4 length options, and 7 colors, 4 length options. Directions for both heel flap and gusset, as well as an afterthought heel, are included in the pattern, but it's easy to substitute your favorite heel as well. While the pattern is made for cuff down knitting, it is easy to knit them toe up if that is more to your liking. Just replace the cuff with the toe instructions in the pattern and go from there. This pattern uses fingering weight yarn and US size 1 needles. It is $6 on Ravelry. Next is a really pretty wrap called All My Favorite Colors Wrap by the Black Cat Knitting Company. And I really love this for any kind of a fade that you might have. So if you have a fade advent or a fade set that you've been wanting to use, I think this would be a really good project for that. This wrap was designed for a full set of Advent mini skeins. Knit sideways in a beautiful arrow shape, this shawl is simple enough that it's a relaxing knit, but it stays fun with the frequent color changes. This wrap is perfect for Advent yarns, mini skeins, or scraps. A comforting project to knit and to wrap yourself up in all your favorite colors. This project uses US 4 needles and fingering weight yarn. It is $6 on Ravelry. The next one is called Check It Out by All Knit Up Designs. Check It Out is a top-down triangle shawl that uses a main color and an array of leftovers for a fun and graphic stripe design. Check It Out is simple to follow and easy to knit, so it's a perfect project for beginners or knitters who just like to play with color. Check It Out uses simple yarn over increasing at the sides and center spine, and then easy turn short rows for a no fiddle pattern. This shawl will use up all those lovely scraps that you just can't get rid of. Check It Out uses fingering weight yarn on US 5 needles. This pattern is available on a pay what works scale from $5.99 to $8.99. This next pattern would be really good for possibly something like my magpie set, where you have one full skein of a darker color that you can mix with lighter colors. And it's called Oh Christmas Tree by Julia Maria Hegenbart. This pattern is an easy all-over mosaic pattern with a darker main color and mini skein contrast colors. It would work really well with mini skeins that are a fade. This rectangular wrap is knit using DK yarn and US 7 and 8 needles. It is €6 on Ravelry. Next up is the Colourful Geometry Loop by Petra, Machová, Kouřilová. The Colourful Geometry Loop is a bias knit infinity scarf designed for Avent Calendar mini skeins, but it can easily be made with leftovers or just one or two colors. It has a relaxing knit purl textured pattern, perfect for sitting down for half an hour each day for a bit of knitting self-care. At the end of the Advent, you will be ready to wear your new cowl for the holidays or have a last-minute gift to give away. Starting with a provisional cast-on, you will knit one pattern repeat each day for 24 days. On the last day, both ends of the long scarf are joined together either invisibly with Kitchener stitch or with a 3-needle bind-off. This cowl is knit in fingering weight yarn on US 4 needles and is €6. The next pattern is a familiar one, but one that I thought of right away when I thought about my Advent leftovers and some of my stash yarn, and that is the Embrace Cowl by Andrea Mowry, which I'm sure you're familiar with, but I'm going to show you anyway because I think it's a great stash buster. Embrace combines the brilliant and trusty combo of fading and garter stitch to create the perfect cowl. And with sizes for both kiddos and adults, it's perfect for gift knitting. This cowl is a fun and engaging knit that is knit sideways, twisted 1/2 turn, and seamed to a close. Andrea's sample uses 12 mini skeins and is knit with 2 strands of fingering weight held together on US 6 needles. It's $7 on Ravelry. I love the name of this next pattern. It's a cowl and it's called Leftover City by Kacey, Herlihy. And so if you're sitting in Leftover City or Advent City with all your little skeins surrounding you, maybe you can make this really cute cowl. The possibilities are endless for this scrappy colorwork cowl. Alternate between 2 colors, create contrast cuffs, switch between bold solids and wild speckles, go stash diving, or bust into that mini kit you've been holding on to. 375 to 450 yards total of fingering weight yarn are required to complete this project. This simple colorwork cowl pattern is intended to use up leftovers, scraps, or mini skeins of 10 grams or more of a similar fiber and twist in as many colors as you want, and 20 grams of color A if you want your ribbing to match, as seen in the sample. The pattern is written for fingering weight yarns in as many colors as you want, up to 9 as written, but you can use any weight as long as they're all similar in twist and fiber. This pattern uses US 4 and 5 needles, and it is $7 on Ravelry. Next, we're going to move into Stephen West territory because he's the king of mixing and matching yarns and making everything look cool. So really, I could pick any of his patterns, I think, and they would work for an Advent set or any of your stash busting needs or anything you want to make. So really, the weirder the colors, the better. And the first pattern I'm going to pick from Stephen is the Melting Marl Shawl by Stephen West, and it's pretty amazing. Gather a collection of colorful leftover fingering weight yarn and single skeins to create a painterly yarn pile. This top-down shawl is very easy to knit with garter stitch and I-cord edges. The top-down construction means you can bind off early for a smaller size or continue knitting for a large blanket. Invite some fluffy mohair yarns into your color palette for texturally melted color transitions. Always hold 2 strands together for this stash-busting beginner-friendly shawl. The pattern includes advice on how to blend your colors together to achieve smooth melting color transitions. This shawl uses fingering weight yarn held double on US 8 needles, and it's available for €7 on Ravelry. Another Stephen West pattern I've really had my eye on, and this might be good for my magpie set too because it also uses like a dark contrast color along with some lights mixed in, and this is the Painting Waves shawl by Stephen West. This fingering weight shawl is knit sideways, starting at the little edge and increasing toward the wide edge. One main color is featured throughout all the garter stitch stripes. 8 contrast colors are used for painting the waves in stockinette stitch. The stitches are very easy to knit with I-cord edges framing the wavy triangular shape. This design is perfect for using mini skeins, leftover bits of fingering weight yarn, or self-striping yarns. This shawl uses fingering weight on US 5 needles and is available for €7 on Ravelry. This next project came out, I believe, in November, and I've had my eye on it ever since. It's called The Incredible Blanket by Pearl Soho. Knitting this blanket is all about the fun and surprise of color relationships, of striping 2 colors that you might normally think have no business being together and discovering that they actually make each other sing. Along the way, your heart will open to colors you've never loved before, and you may never see the world the same. This project is perfect for the Pearl Soho Linen Quill mini set and uses 3,490 yards of yarn. This blanket is knit in fingering weight yarn on US 4 needles and is available for free at pearlsoho.com. The next pattern is a beautiful geometric wrap, and it's called the Pieces Wrap by Vera Valimaki. The Pieces Wrap is all about geometric color and wonderful squishy garter stitch. It is worked in one piece, but in 3 phases. First, you knit a center diamond in one direction, then another picking up stitches from the previous diamond. Finally, you work a faded garter stitch border around the whole thing. This wrap is both easy and fun. This project uses 22 skeins of fingering weight yarn on US 6 needles and is available on Ravelry for €6. I always am a sucker for stripes, and so that's why I picked this next project. It's called Stripes Please by Amy Gunderson. This scarf is the ultimate stash buster and mindless knitting project all rolled into one. This scarf is knit in the round as a tube, and you can really keep going on forever and ever if you want. Amy says, "The sample uses every color of fingering weight yarn I had sitting around, no exceptions. I'm a firm believer that by adding more and different colors to a ridiculous degree will always result in a beautiful thing." Stripes Please has 160 stripes plus 2 ribbed edges. This pattern uses fingering weight yarn on US size 4 needles and is a free Ravelry download. And then we're going to move back into the land of West Knits because I had to pick 2 more of his patterns because they're all so good. But the next one is Painting Waves Cowl by Stephen West. This fingering weight cowl is knit in the round and then seamed together to recreate a reversible tube. One main color is featured throughout all the garter stitch stripes. 8 contrast colors are used for painting the waves in stockinette stitch. This easy to knit cowl beautifully showcases mini skeins or leftover bits of fingering weight yarn. 8 total mini skeins were used in the sample. The Painting Waves cowl is knit on US 5 needles and is €6 on Ravelry. Next up is a super fun hat that I've wanted to make for the longest time, the Fantastitch hat by Stephen West. This hat is perfect for using leftover bits of DK weight yarn. The sample is knit with 9 colors, but you can use as many colors or as few as you like. Begin with a twisted rib brim and continue with the fun striped and slip stitch motifs, adding extra texture to the fabric. Dive into your stash or create a matching hat for your Fantastitch sweater. This hat is knit in a DK or worsted weight yarn on US 5 and 6 needles and is €6 on Ravelry. And last but not least, I had to pick one more simple sock pattern, but with Stephen West, it's anything but simple. It is called the West Knits Simple Sock Pattern by Stephen West, and it's such a fun color block stash busting sock, and you can make 2 different ones. It's just super cool and fun. This top-down sock pattern begins with a ribbed cuff and continues with simple stockinette stitch for the leg. The heel features a simple garter stitch heel flap. Use this pattern with your fingering weight sock yarn and customize the colors to make your own creative, colorful socks. The leg and foot of the sock are easily customizable so you can achieve the perfect fit. Socks are designed to fit an actual foot circumference of 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, 10.5, and 11.5 inches. The socks are designed to fit with negative ease. Choose a size with a finished foot circumference measurement that is approximately 1 inch smaller than your actual foot circumference so that the sock will fit nicely and snug on your foot. This pattern uses fingering weight yarn on US size 1 needles and is a free Ravelry download. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you had fun looking through all the Advent and stash busting projects on Ravelry. And there's so many more. Go look on your own because there's so much out there. It's just, you know, it's unreal. One of my new goals for the new year is to upload a video every Saturday. So please check back next weekend. There should be a new video up on Saturday at some point. And then if you're new here, welcome. I love having you here and I love hanging out, and thank you for being here and thank you for watching. Please hit the notification bell if you want to see more videos when they pop up, and like and subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps me out. So thank you for doing that. And I love hearing your questions and comments in the comment section. So thank you for chatting back and forth with me. I love getting to know more about you that way and learning more about knitting, which is like, you know, what we all do. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.